Ready to teach your cat to play fetch? We've gotten our two cats to play, and we know it isn't as hard as you think to engage in this fun game with your cat. The very first factor with playing fetch with your cat is that some breeds of cats are flat out harder to teach new tricks to. Some, quote, smarter breeds like the Manx, Bombay, and Siamese, just as a few examples, seem to just learn tricks and fetch faster. I've also then seen plenty of cats who will run after a toy but stop and then walk away once they approach the toy. This is pretty typical, but promising for them to learn. Now, there are lots of ways to train an animal to do nearly anything, right? So take note that this is just one way of training your kitty to play fetch, and it's not the only way by any means. This is just what has worked out for our two cats. And we also need to consider some benefits of playing fetch, because first, this is a great opportunity to play and bond with your cat, and second, it can become a really good daily exercise for your cat as well. Nevertheless, let's get into a few important steps that you need to consider when it comes to training your cat to play fetch. The very first step is to find a toy that your cats already like to play with. This could be a ball, a crinkle toy, a toy mouse, whatever it is. The second step is to associate the game of fetch with a word, a phrase, or a specific sound. Now, for example, I'm sure your cat likes the sound of a can opener due to associating it with tuna cans, for example, or maybe even recognizes the sound of a garage door and makes them run to the front door and greet you. Okay, same idea here. Next, you need to figure out the reward to provide your kitty. For us, it was literally petting our cats, but a lot of times at the beginning, the reward is treats. So it can look something like this. Sit on one end of a non-distracting room, and another individual sits a few yards away. Toss the toy to the other person, and when the cat chases it, reward the cat. If you don't have another person, well, you just have to get up and down a ton. You can also reward the cat when they pick up the toy with their mouth. Once the cat begins to pick up the toy after it was being tossed. So, all in all, find a toy, toss it, reward your cat when it chases it, toss back and forth, reward continues. Then, reward your cat when it picks up the toy in its mouth, and get the cat to come back to you and then thus reward it. We were able to use verbal cueing to get our cats to come back to us, but if there's another way to get your cat to come back to you, like a laser pointer or something like that, hey, that's great. Now keep in mind that this is also replicable if you do clicker training. We have never used clickers for Chip and his sister Biscuit, but I've heard that clickers are great if your cat struggles to understand what you're trying to get it to do. With all this in mind, let's go over a few important tips. First off, cats usually can't engage in a ton of repetitious activity. Dogs can play fetch for a long time. Cats, honestly, may only last 3 minutes. Another thing to keep note is that this may take a handful of tries before your cat catches on. Remember, every cat is totally different, and you need to have a ton of patience, and this, again, may take a lot of different tries, but it's worth it. Also, if your cat takes a while to learn, feeding it dozens of treats isn't the healthiest option by any means, so it may be a sign that you should look into clicker training or just using a different reward. So, hopefully these tips help you start playing the fun game of fetch with your cat. Comment below if you have any other tips or suggestions to help other cat parents out. Thanks for watching.